one that they really only use a lot is gold. That's the one they exploit the most. And speaking about like agriculture and stuff, they export a lot of bananas and fish. They do a lot of fishing. And the most popular export they have is coffee, and they do everything like tobacco and sugar. But the most popular export is coffee, but the one that's the bulk of their income is textiles.
Who has the power in Nicaragua would be President Jose Daniel Ortega, who started on January 10, 2007, and the problems over there is that people are barely making enough money to maintain their families. Their kind of government is public, and the social resources they have would be World Vision. They're able to help children by providing health care, education, and nutrition food.
In Nicaragua, there's a bunch of organizations. Some organizations are Pro-Nica, Rotary International, Building New Hope, Advocate for Humanity, Nicaragua, Centers of Hope. These organizations help to provide services for needs in health, education, agriculture, and community building. For example, the organization Building New Hope started in 1982. Building New Hope by working to reduce poverty through education, community development, and renewing hope, and rebuilding lives in Central America. These are organizations help families to keep their land so they can continue producing coffee for market.
So the road to recovery. Basically, how can we fix this? And maintaining policies in place. So what does that mean? In other words, the government has to take less laissez-faire, which is, we all know, the invisible hand approach to the economy, which is what it got into the economic crisis that is struggling to get out. Keeping public spending pressure at bay. So what does that mean? People from Nicaragua need to spend more money from their own products, like Chinese products, stuff like that's made there. And how do they do this? They subsidize it. So what does subsidize mean? It means like the government will pay a certain percentage of the product so that it would make it cheaper for the public to buy. Same thing as moderating wages, so it's basically hiring, putting more minimum, less minimum, stuff like that. Alright, so higher economic growth is essential to reducing poverty rates is significant, we all know that. Okay. Reducing the high dependency on oil requires strength the electricity sector. So what does that mean? More power plants, because they're basically, right now, their whole electrical thing is based on oil. And they can't just depend on one product. They could just do more power plants, stuff like that.
So they don't have anything like generators or dams that are making like hydroelectric power.
They do, but not as much.
Not enough.
Not enough to like be producing for their themselves.
Okay.
And I got all this from the IMF. The IMF has argued that this is the way to go. According to the article, and that's where I got it. The article for Mission to Nicaragua. That's where I got everything.
Okay, cool.
The press numbers. And that's our references.
Okay. All right. Do you guys anyone else have anything to add to? So, the top of the page of that all of you were handed, and I went over this on Thursday when we talked last down in the library. That what was the number one thing on your page that you were on your assignment says report how globalization is affecting your country. So just not memorize anything. What do you guys think in regards to globalization in Nicaragua? How is globalization, as we defined it at the top of this unit, affecting Nicaragua? What do you guys think?
It got it into the mess it's in now, to start with, and now it's slowly climbing its way back out. So I mean, if they get it right this time around, you know, it'll be a good thing for them, but
Mhm.
it still kind of messed them up to begin with.
Okay, all right. What does Nicaragua have to offer the world in order to participate like at a developed level instead of a developing level? I'm just curious.
Their coffee is like their biggest export.
Coffee, yeah,
Is it-
because we're all, it's the second biggest export, right, Mr. Morales, outside of oil, coffee in the world?
But right now they're having a problem because there's a new fungus that's going around
Oh, no.
that's actually destroying the crops.
Oh, wow.
So they're gonna have to depend on other things other than.
Then you get into the issue of like things like, do we keep organic or do we, you know, bring in the chemicals to kill this thing? Yeah, exactly. And chance. And what happens if we, you know, so many people really dig buying organic, and if they decide to risk using chemicals to treat it, then, you know, what would happen then? Would they risk their market value possibly for not being organic? Or?
It could for some people, because some people like to eat the things that are organic rather than things that have certain, what is that, growth hormones, stuff like that.
That aren't organic.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I'm going to open up the floor to the class. Do you guys have any questions? Do you guys have a video to show? No? Okay. All right. Then I'm going to open up the floor to the class. Do you guys have any questions? Yes, Omar.
Do you have any pictures?
We did have a picture. It's a coffee stock and a picture of the flag.
Where is it?
Do you want to see it?
Yes.
That's
There
the
it
one.
is. It's a bag of coffee. Look, guys, if you never knew what a bag of coffee looked like,
That's
you
how
would
it
learn
is. And here's the flag.
Okay, that was about 8 minutes. Do you guys have anything to add before we call it a day?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Morales.
You guys mentioned CAFTA, and I was wondering if you guys read different perspectives about CAFTA, because again, we've talked about it, right, in this unit about the issue of free trade and the extent to which a country should open up its economy to trade, and you know, there are those who highlight the positives, that it leads to more economic growth, and others that say, hey, it's causing more problems than it is bringing solutions. So I'm wondering if you read any different perspectives about the effect of the Central American Free Trade Agreement on Nicaragua. Is it helping them, hurting them?
I did when I was going through it, and I actually was a little bit of both. Where some people were saying that it was good because it helped, you know, facilitate the trading, but others were saying that it was too overregulated and they couldn't get enough of a profit from it. So there was like split feelings on that.
Any final questions? All right, let's give him a big hand for going first. Thank you guys so much. Good job. Okay, up next.